All right. Welcome to this special edition of Events.com's Ask an Event Pro. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by RunningUSA. Our guest, the Pied Piper of running, Mr. Runner's World himself, Mr. Bart Yasso.
Hey.
Bart, man, how the heck are you?
Bob, it's good to be here. It's good to be at RunningUSA again. This conference is a lot of running industry leaders.
Yes.
And we're here to promote the sport, engage the sport, and take the sport to the next level. So
As someone
it's
who
fun.
travels the world, and you've seen this sport go from small to gigantic.
Yeah.
Some of your favorite moments?
You know, just this past weekend, one of my favorite moments in 40 years of running was in Los Cabos, doing the Los Cabos half marathon. The Friday night before the race, I spoke to the local running club.
Yeah.
And I had a translator there, you know, they were doing it in Spanish, I'm talking in English, it was really fun. And then during the race, I'm running along in the half marathon, and that running group was out there. And they're screaming my name, and they were so sincere and genuine. They ran next to me and hugged me while I was running the race, because they were so happy I was in Mexico. And I was like, they brought me to tears.
Isn't that the coolest?
It's the coolest thing. You know, as you know, our sport is global. And, you know, for the position I'm in at Runner's World, being the chief running officer, and the same thing you do,
Yeah.
Bob, we create opportunity for people that didn't have the opportunity. We give them the opportunity. They shine in our sport.
Right.
Challenge Athlete Foundation, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You give people that opportunity, let them get to that starting line, they will let their life flourish and get to that finish line. And that's how I felt last week in Mexico. That's how I felt in comrades in South Africa and races in East Africa and all over the world. I mean, we need to create opportunity. We should not eliminate any demographic. Everyone should have the chance to go out there. And as we know, as we witness,
Yes.
they go out there and prove they're worthy, get to that finish line, and you just see that look in their eyes and that smile on their face. It changes their lives, and all to the better.
The change that I saw when rock and roll came in,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, you really the first almost not franchise, but the first national series of
Right.
marathon and then half marathon. How important was that in terms of the growth of the sport? Because we're back in the day, it was 90% guys, 10%
Yep.
women, totally different demographic now.
Yeah, it was all men, you know, and it was very competitive. If you
Right.
didn't run fast, you didn't feel like you're part of the group. We knocked down those walls, destroyed those walls, welcomed everyone, and rock and roll played a big part in that.
Yes.
They really brought in a the women's movement. They embraced it, the women embraced it, and it's just, there's no stop. It is a tidal wave, and it hasn't yet to crest.
Right.
And we're fortunate to be here at these times. You know, when I meet a runner, they're new to the sport.
Yes.
I always tell them, you have no clue how lucky you are to come along now when there is all this stuff out there to choose from, all these different races and all these opportunities that didn't exist in the old days. It was really a hardcore, die-hard. You know, you had to be fast. You know, there just weren't the
Right.
amount of races. The races in exotic locations. I mean, you can really have fun with the sport. You got to figure out what you want to do. Do you want to travel the world and do races, all 7 continents, the world majors, whatever you want to do, you can create your little fun and take it to the next level and enjoy every second of it.
You can go out and get color splashed on you.
You can get covered in mud, get covered, you know, whatever you want. That's the beauty. There are these opportunities. And the most important thing, too, is to bring the youth in at that young age.
Yes.
And expose them to it. Now, I say that, bring the youth in, but I actually see a lot of the youth inspire their parents. And I saw that in Mexico. Like
yes.
there were a lot of kids did the 3K Kids Run, and then they were telling their mom and dad that they want to see them do the half marathon or the 5K, and that's
Right.
pretty cool.
The other thing that I think you brought to the table is the runners were purists, right? Runners ran. That's all
Yeah,
they did.
that's all we did.
You've done Ironman. You've ridden your bike across the country. Obviously, your company has Bicycling Magazine,
Right.
but you were one of the, I'd say, sort of a Renaissance guy, because back in the day where runners sort of looked down their nose at those tri guys in their tight,
Yeah.
bright pink
Yeah.
Speedos, right?
Right. Kenny
You were-
Souza.
Kenny Souza with his banana hammock.
Yeah.
You were one of those guys who not only accepted that, but dove in.
Yeah.
But did you find that there was resistance from the running side?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. You know, people used to come to me for coaching advice. I used to talk about this thing called cross-training. They
Yes.
said, oh, I'm a runner, I only run. I said, someday you're going to come back to me and ask me all these cross-training questions, because it's a tough sport. If you mix it up a little bit, you're going to be around a long time. You're going to be doing this 40, 50, 60
Yeah.
years. you got to have fun with it. Those were some of the messages I was trying to get to people. And I know they thought they were just diehard, they can do this forever. And it's not the case. You really have to have fun with it. And try different things. Like, I loved doing the tries and the biathlons back in the 80s. And, you got to try different things. It makes it fun. It keeps you involved. And that's, and I did get a lot of resistance from it. I cross-train today. I ride my bike to work.
You're still shaving your legs, baby.
I'm still shaving my legs. I don't know how that happened. But, it's the fun thing. I absolutely love it. The key word is endurance.
Right.
We're all endurance athletes, whether you choose to be more of a triathlete than a runner. Some triathletes said, I'm not a runner, I'm a triathlete. I said, well, I think in that race you run a pretty good segment of it.
Exactly.
And you have to be good at running to be really a good triathlete. So I said, you are a runner. You're
Totally.
a runner/triathlete, but you're a runner. And, I get it. You may have come from a cycling background or a swimming background and don't consider yourself more of a runner than a triathlete, but you can't do a triathlon without a run. And that's the beauty. I really like to see endurance athletes. Even though I personally work at Runner's World magazine, I consider myself an endurance athlete, and I talk to the endurance community.
What's interesting to me is I see a lot of runners in high school running 60, 70, 80 miles a week. And someone like a Gwen Jorgensen, who came from a swim background, became, was also a great runner in Wisconsin. Then they teach her ride the bike. She becomes a great triathlete, and her coach, Bobby McGee, was telling me that she's doing most of her anaerobic work on the bike, right? Which keeps her healthy. She's running probably half of what she used to run when she was a runner. So is there a way to get the high school coaches, the college coaches to embrace the cross-training and multi-sport? Because I think a lot of people burn out and go away.
I know. I think one of the problems with the high school and collegiate coaches, they had to get their athletes, they have this short window to get the most out of their athletes, so they really concentrate on the running.
Good point.
But if they really looked at the athlete as, I want this guy to be doing it when he's 60 years old like me, then you would do more of that cross-training and add other exercise at an early age. But I understand why the coaches don't do it, but I really think you got to think long-term. Now, if a runner comes to me and they are hell-bent to be in the Olympic trials, to try to make an Olympic team, the majority of their training is going to be running, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
But even then, they do a little cross-training. You can run on the elliptical. You can do other things that really simulate running more than just doing a 100-mile bike ride. And that's what you got to think about. But you got to think long-term, because it's the health benefits, it's the stress release, it's the weight loss. That's what we want forever.
So when you first started seeing heavier folks coming to running, right? You saw all of a sudden, wait a second, that guy doesn't, he doesn't look, he's not the profile, right? He's not 5'9" and 140 pounds.
Yeah,
all of a sudden he's 6'3".
His jeans aren't 30 weighs 34 long,
When you first started seeing those folks come to the races, what were your thoughts?
At first, my immediate thought was, good for them. They had the guts to show up, because it's human nature. You don't go somewhere where you don't feel like everybody else.
Where you don't fit in.
Yeah, you don't fit in, and you're like, wow, I don't look like these people, and I'm in the middle of this people. So it's human nature to kind of be shy away from that. But they didn't. They went out there, and then what happens is they're running the race. There's people on the side of the road, a family member who wasn't running the race, but they got a spouse or a friend out there, and they see this person go by, and they go, wow, I'm built just like that person. If he or she can do it, I can do it. And that's where it started. Oprah Winfrey. Big.
After she ran America's Finest City Half Marathon.
Yeah, and then she did the Marine Corps Marathon, and people look like, Oprah did a marathon? I better get out there and do a marathon. So it is some of that, you look at somebody and say, that's me. That inspires people. It's not all, people do get inspired by Shalane Flanagan, Meb Keflezighi, Desi Linden, these real fast runners. But there's other people that are inspired by someone that has a full-time job, 2 kids, keeps it all together, still runs 40 miles a week, and go out and run a marathon. Because that's, most people are in those shoes versus Shalane or Meb's shoes.
Exactly.
So when you're hitting that big demographic, in that really mainstream America, that's powerful.
What moves the needle for Runner's World? I mean, obviously early on, Runner's World was covering the elite side of the thing, but as Runner's World has grown, you've grown with the celebrity infusion, you've grown with the weight loss, the Biggest Loser infusion. How important is that to not only the growth of Runner's World, but to getting new people into our sport?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of what we have today. And of course, now, as you know, so much is digital and so much is instant on social media and our website. And of course, we still do the print magazine, but you know, it is fun to, when you meet someone and say, you know, I never thought I could run around the block. And someone told me to read Runner's World, and now I'm doing a marathon. You know, it just feels so good inside to think that it's a small part of that journey.
Yes.
But everyone needs that little push, whether you use Runner's World as motivation, information. You know, it's all about staying healthy, staying happy, staying fit, and being out there. Participation is key. You got to be part of the game. You know, I got some old timers that I ran with in the 70s.
Yeah.
They look at me and they go, "Oh, you did this marathon? You were out there for over 4 hours. What are you doing that for?" I go, "Because I love it."
Because I
said,
can.
Because I said, when I get to that finish line, I feel just as good as when I used to run 240. It doesn't matter what the numbers are on the clock.
Yes.
It matters that you're out there. And actually, where I run now at over 4 hours in the marathon, I'm surrounded by people. It's awesome. In the old days, there were just this thin line
trickle.
of people. We spit on each other, not on purpose, but I was just a different world. Now I'm in these pack and people take pictures, and oh my God, it's so much fun. We just love it. And that, you know, I always say, don't feel sorry for me. I'm the happiest guy out there. I crossed the finish line smiling like crazy.
And those people are sitting inside.
They're miserable.
Yeah, and the orthopedic reality is, as you age, you do have to do other stuff. You do have to do weights.
Yeah.
You do have to ride the bike. You do have to swim. You can't run forever.
Yeah.
But you are running forever.
Yeah, well,
because-
guys like Amby Burfoot and Jeff Galloway,
Yeah.
you know, Galloway's still doing marathons.
Yes.
He won his first marathon 52 years ago. The guy's still out there doing marathons over the age of 70, and he looks good and he finishes strong. But
Yes.
he's a smart guy. He does this walk-run program that he started, and it helps him. It keeps him physically fit. He gets to the finish line. He beats lots of people that are running the whole way. But he found out what works for him, and he passes it on to people. Amby Burfoot has run this race in Manchester, Connecticut on Thanksgiving Day 55 years in a row. I mean, the guy's a machine. He still runs like Amby's getting close to that 70-year age group, and he's still running 1:45 for a half marathon.
That's amazing.
In 2018, he'll run the Boston Marathon, his 50th anniversary of winning the Boston Marathon. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
When you got people like that around you, that's who I aspire to be. When I go to a race, Los Cabos had an 82-year-old woman finish the half marathon. I go and greet her at the finish. I give her a big hug, tell her how much of a hero she is to me. She goes, "Bart, I got to go get my medal. I'll be back." She didn't care about the hug I gave her.
She's like, yada, yada, yada. Where's my medal?
She went and got her medal, and then she came back. It was so awesome. I love that spirit, you know. And then, of course, the 92-year-old woman, right?
Harriet.
Harriet.
Yes.
I mean, when you see these people, I love it when Harriet was interviewed on TV and she gets a medal from Meb Keflezighi.
Yes.
They don't even mention Meb. You know, here in national TV,
Yeah.
they go, "Oh yeah, some guy giving Harriet a medal. Some
Exactly.
guy with an Olympic silver medal."
Hey, you with Olympic silver, can you take a photo of me with Harriet? I love that.
That's the greatest part of our sport. And that's what people don't know about our sport. We're immersed in it, we know it, and we see it all the time.
We
but
love it.
From the outside, they don't understand that. And I get it. You know, you have to be immersed in it to understand all that craziness. But Harriet, she is everyone's hero because we want to live to be 90 and be able to. I'd be happy to run a mile or 5K, let alone a marathon. But she inspires me to keep going. And she, you know, when she finished, she smiled. She was happy as could be. That's what it's all about. You know,
Is that what keeps you in this?
Yeah.
Just the inspiration you get from the everyday runners.
You know, when I did the Los Cabos half last weekend, a lot of runners come up to me and they want me to sign their bib number for good luck, and I'm happy to do that. Los Cabos, I had all the locals and a lot of the runners that I met from Chicago. There was a group from Chicago there. I had them sign my bib number. I had like 50 signatures on my bib number. It gave me power. It got me excited to be out there, and that's what. You know, if you're not immersed in this, you don't understand it. But it really is fun. When I was out there, I was thinking all those people that signed my bib. You know, they're out here doing the same thing I am. I got to be with them. So truly, the running community inspires me. I don't think if I was part of the running community the way I am in Runner's World and the stuff I do, I don't think I would be running because I had some problems from Lyme disease and stuff like that, and it's not fun. But you know, the running community, you know. Challenge Athletes Foundation, you just spend one day there, you walk away and go, okay, I got to be a runner for life. Like, you got to be kidding me what these people overcome just to start, let alone never even thinking about what they accomplish at half Ironman, Ironman marathons. You know, it's people like Sarah Reinertson. Sarah taught me early on, never take a finish line for granted. Never. It's a very sacred place. It's a very cool place to be. So forget about the numbers on the clock. You cross that finish line, you're happy.
So for people out there who have not gotten into our world yet, have not put a number on, what's your message to them?
Oh yeah, go to a race and stand on the side of the road and cheer, and you will be amazed at the human spirit that runs by you, and you will be moved, and you will see your spitting image going by.
Yes.
And you'll say, okay,
that's me.
That person looked so happy, and they look like, I got to do this, you know. And there are these endorphins that go on, and we really do have fun. And that's what you got to do. You got to lace up the shoes, pin on the bib number, and then you're ready to go.
So I'd be remiss if I didn't have you recount going to East Africa, running a marathon, Pali Manzunga.
Pali Manzunga. I said that last week to a couple Kenyans, and they just smiled at me, which, you know, when I did that race in East Africa, it was only a marathon, no half, and there wasn't anybody running slower than 6 minute per mile pace in this race, and except for me, I was right around 6 minute pace.
You run a 2:40 marathon, and there's nobody there.
And there's no one around. I'm way in the back. I was way in the back in the beginning. I did catch a few runners in that second loop, and then, you know, the locals were saying Poli Manzungu in Swahili, and I didn't know enough Swahili.
Yes.
I'm thinking,
and they're smiling.
They're telling me, big smile on their face. And I'm thinking, they're telling me I look good. They're telling me I'm strong. Poli Manzungu means slow white man in Swahili, but they weren't. It was just matter-of-factly speaking. They weren't making fun of me.
No.
They were like, Poli Manzungu.
But the guy made fun of you as you finished the race. The finish line is broken down. The race director's in the bar.
Clock's gone. Yeah, everyone, they're all celebrating. I'm like, where is everybody? And they're, 2 hours, 25 minutes. We packed up and left. What are you doing out there that long? I said, come to America. People are out there for 5.5, 6 hours.
They were blown away.
They were blown away. They didn't think it was possible. I said, come to America. We got about 40 million Poli Manzunga that'll be out there for 5.5 hours.
Oh, man.
But again, that's the beauty of what we have. You know, we're out here doing it, getting it done, just like yourself. And we are very fortunate to be in the position we're in to actually give people that opportunity and let them run with it, literally run with it.
Bart, thank you, as always, for being such a legend, the Pied Piper of running, Mr. Bart Yasso from Runner's World. Hold on, everybody. We will be right back.
Hi, this is Cassie, visual designer at Events.com. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to learn more tips.